And we are live. We didn't even get a countdown, Rochelle. We are
Okay,
live. We are live.
we are live.
We are live. We are live. What's up, Toledo, Ohio, and to the rest of the world? It is your
Yeah.
girl, Deborah Sue, and we also have Rochelle.
Hey, what's up, Toledo?
Let's say hello. Say hello, Rochelle. So,
Yeah.
listen, guys, we are starting a new platform here. As you know, we had another platform. That platform dealt with the artistry and some of the artists that we were managing around different cities and different states. And this particular platform is a celebration of our own city, Toledo, Ohio. And so we welcome you to it. And so our objective for this particular show is to talk about the good things that's going on in Toledo. We have a lot to be proud of our city, and we want the rest of the world to know just how much we value our city and how much we are putting forth individuals, businesses, and what have you to make the city of Toledo a great place to be and a great place to call home. That being said, we're going to present you with some fun facts for Toledo. We're going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly, as we said, but we're mostly going to talk about the good in Toledo.
Yeah.
We are celebrating our city throughout the world. We're going to talk about business promo, events promo, artistry invites, topics that you might be interested in. So if you have something that you're interested in that you'd like for us to talk about, or if you have some promo that you'd like for us to talk about on air, make sure you inbox me and I will make sure we get that on air for you. Okay. So since we have this tremendous city that we want to talk about, we want to celebrate, I would like to introduce you to Rochelle. Rochelle is a phenomenal woman. And she's also a good friend of mine, and she's from Toledo, Ohio, and she's been basically around basically every state that I think that there exists in the union. Rochelle has been there. And she's always come back home. And so, Rochelle, I'm going to give you the platform right now to talk about why Toledo is a great place for you to have come from and to come back home to.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, Toledo has gotten a lot better than it used to be. And for some reason, when I leave, I gotta always come back. And every time I come back, it gets better and better and better. We got a few little bumps, but this is a great city. I look around it now, and it is very, very, very beautiful. I'm seeing a lot of people come together to make it even better, and that's
Mm-hmm.
even more important. But my roots are here in Toledo, Ohio. I grew up at 1115 Indiana. I am a Doug kid. I was born and raised at the Frederick Douglass Community Center. They have fed me multiple times growing up and coming up. And my family, I don't know if you noticed that, Sue, but my family have been on that block for 54 years. My grandmother and my grandfather were the first of three Black families that were on that
Wow.
block.
Wow.
Yes. And so going back to Indiana or coming back to Toledo and going back to my block and, working within my community, there with the Frederick Douglass Community Center is another reason why I continue to come back. I always miss the Doug, no matter what city I go to or what organization that I work for when it deals with the communities, always, I miss the Doug, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I miss my people. I've been looking around. I'm so proud of people that I went to school with that are now doing great things. People that I grew up on the block with doing great things. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, I got to always come back because my beautiful granddaughter is here. And my biggest clientele is here in the city of Toledo. Y'all show the gourmet soul food queen a lot of love, and I appreciate y'all for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you for that.
So let me expound on that just a little bit, Rochelle, because we want to talk about your background, because you actually have a very interesting background that could have taken you to places far beyond Toledo, which it did. In fact, it took you to areas where you were considered a celebrity chef.
Yeah.
So you spoke about your experiences in the cooking world and the chef world, if you will, and you're back here in Toledo as a grandparent now. So something brought you back here. Why is this so important, obviously, for you? Because when you get an opportunity like you have, opportunities I should say, like you have, to basically be out and mingle with the rich and famous, if you will, and you came
It's
back
been a great
here
ride.
for emotional reasons and for commitment. So let's talk about that. How did that come about?
I'm sorry. Again, how did me coming back home come about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, for one, I miss my granddaughter tremendously, and a lot of my work here that I do, as far as my daughter, my late daughter Brianna, a lot of the work and a lot of the respect and understanding and things like that, I've gotten it from my people here in Toledo, my support here in the city of Toledo. And I felt it was important for me to be back with my granddaughter at the age that she is now, because I need to show her the other half of who she is. So, and I have lessons that I need to teach her, things that you cannot pay for.
Mm-hmm.
The things I have for
Mm-hmm.
my granddaughter are priceless, and I want to share what I've taught my daughter, my late daughter, to be an amazing young lady, and I want to do that with these young ladies here in the city of Toledo as well. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to get back to my foundation, the Brianna Banner Ladybug Society, and continue to work with the girls. And I think that's more of the draw for me to get back here all the time, is about working within my community, because I get so much love and respect here. I mean, I get it everywhere else, but it feels different when you come home and you
Mm-hmm.
just get loved on by your people here in your hometown.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's not a unique thing that you have women such as yourself that are trying to mentor young women, but I think that it's a blessing to have women like yourself who actually turn the tables to reach out to other individuals, young individuals, to show them a
Yeah.
different path in life. And I think the fact that you're trying to present something different to young women, what's the age bracket of young ladies that you work with?
7 to 17, and sometimes we even go over to 18, young ladies just need a little bit of guidance to possibly get into school, or if they're dealing with some serious things like pregnancy or drug addiction or being physically abused by their boyfriends or anyone within their home. I can help guide them to a place of safety and let them
Mm-hmm.
know that they're not alone. I can connect them, and that means everything to me. When I can help a young lady, it's just like when Bree passed away, and finding out what happened to her and sharing her story, and even going through the pain to share it each and every time, it changes somebody's life, because I get in my DMs every day a parent thanking me for connecting these dots and being strong enough to share my story and
Mm-hmm.
continue to save his lives. And it means everything to me, to hear mothers say that, because it is definitely hard, to speak of such a great loss.
So since we're talking about that, let's go ahead and segue into that. Since we're talking about great things that are happening in Toledo right now, I was really just going to share what's happening for the month of May and June, but we can
Yeah.
go ahead and talk about. Let's at least talk about this special event that you have coming up that actually caters to surviving women, families, members of someone who has lost a loved one, a young one in
Yeah.
particular, but a loved one in general.
Yes, we're going to be doing something that I created because of Stop the. This will be our third annual Stop the Gun Violence motorcycle ride and rally, and I decided to put that together. For one, I live in an area where there was a lot of gunshots going on a regular basis. I'm too old to be hitting the deck, way too old to be hitting the deck. A cat taking off and everything, and to have to live like that is terrible. And then to wake up every morning and see someone else has been shot, someone else has been killed,
Right.
and see there's been so many children that have been killed and lost to gun violence. One day, April 25th, a few years ago, I got word that my nephew, Philip Cunningham Jr., was shot and murdered on the Grange and Yates on Bloody Monday, when we lost three
Mm-hmm.
people in that one day.
Mm-hmm.
And because that happened, it tapped into something for me to get out and step out of my comfort zone. I'm a caterer, I'm a chef. I've never put together such a big community event, but it came from the heart because I lost Philip, and I felt like there was something that I need to do to connect with the community that have also lost, and connect them with people, grief counselors, and jobs for teens, to kind of keep them off the streets, to give them something to do, and to let families know that we are here to support you and try to help you. So we created an organization called CRAVE, Community Response Against Youth Violence. And you're
Mm-hmm.
part of that group. Thank you so much, Deborah Stu. But
Right.
each and every person that's involved on that team have been impacted in some way by gun violence. So this is my new cause. I'll never stop cooking, but my new cause is to bring awareness and change and community connection, so we can try to end gun violence the best way
Mm-hmm.
we can. We
And
got to
so
try.
let's talk about the tentative date right now. Let's talk about the tentative date as to when this festival is going to be held.
Okay, yeah. So this year, the third annual Stop the Gun Violence Motorcycle Ride and Rally will be September 14th from 12 to 3 at the Frederick Douglass Community Association. And if you would like to be a vendor, please contact Deborah Sue, and we will give you all the information that you need there. And I mean, I'm just ready. I'm ready to get it going now. I'm excited about this year because if everything works right this year, we will be dedicating a tree to those that we have lost to gun violence. And I think that that will be a very powerful statement for the families that come through. Because with Bree, we planted a tree for her, which is at Owens Community College. And just going to that tree, I feel closer to her. You know, I know that
Right.
she was
Yeah.
here, and I know she's still breathing life through every leaf of that tree. And I want to
Yeah.
provide that simple comfort and a place to go for those parents if they want to feel close to their loved one that
Okay,
they've
so
lost.
we're just going to reiterate that we're going that the Crave Gun Violence Rally will be held here in Toledo, and I believe this is the third annual.
Yes, third annual.
This is the third annual, and we'd like to invite anyone who owns a motorcycle or what's those things called?
Spiders,
Slingshots. Yeah,
spiders.
slingshot. Shout out to Lightning Rod.
DJ Light
We're
Ride.
inviting all riders to come out to participate, and because it's a little ways away, we're actually going to highlight that particular event on every show that we have so that we can remind everybody to come out. We're also looking for sponsors. So
Yes.
if you want to be a sponsor of the event, please get in touch with me and I will make sure that I get a sponsorship package to you. Okay.
Also
But
the
let's
vendors.
bring you a little bit closer. Thank you for that dissertation, Rochelle. That was very nice. And I think it brings people up to date as to at least a little piece of what Rochelle is about. So if you're also interested in having your young lady mentored at the next program, please reach out to me and I will get a schedule to you as to when that's being put together. Okay. So now we're going to move on to a couple of the fun facts for Toledo. Okay. I'm actually going to take the lead in this because I learned a lot in my research about Toledo that I actually did not know. And so Rochelle, I'm going to pose a question to you and you may know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Why is Toledo nicknamed the Glass City?
Oh my goodness, because we manufacture more glass than anybody. And Toledo was the first city to be a glass manufacturer on such a large scale. That's why we are the Glass City, baby.
You know what? That is exactly the right answer. Not only are we the Glass City, we are the glass capital of the world.
Capital. The glass capital.
Of the world.
Hence Glass City.
I was excited when I saw that because I was aware that we were called the Glass City, but I was not exactly aware as to why we were called Glass City, but with reference to the rest of the world. So that's a very, very good thing for us to know. So when people ask you, well, where's Glass City come from? Why do you call yourself Glass City? That is why. Okay. So because we are the number one glass manufacturer in the world. Now here's another tidbit that you might not know. Frogtown. Do you know what Frogtown was about?
Well, I believe it's because we used to be a swamp. Toledo used to be a swamp, and there were frogs everywhere. So I believe
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually share with you that it says the Glass City or Toledo was once upon a time known as Frogtown because we, in the days of the Great Black Swamp, that's what we were known as, the Great Black Swamp. I knew we were known as the swamp or the mud, but we're actually known as the Great Black Swamp. And they actually remember we had all the little statues and stuff around Toledo, and those now sit in a Froggy Museum over on South Summit Street. So if you get a chance, the rest of the world, if you come to Toledo, there are some places that you have to visit, and that is our art museum is one, and Froggy Town is the other one. Might be one you might be interested in visiting as well. Rochelle, do you have any fun facts for us?
Not really.
Okay, because I have a couple more before
I actually do. I was doing some research about the Dorr Street corridor. Back in the 1950s and the 60s, I did not know that they considered that as the Black downtown. And it was full of nothing but Black businesses. All Black businesses up and down Dorr Street. that just really amazed me because I never knew that. You know,
Absolutely. That was known as our door. Our yeah, it was our Black Wall Street, in fact,
yeah, it
and
was
that's what it was
definitely our Black
known
Wall
for.
Street.
So that's a little bit of our history that maybe the rest of the world may not have known about. But let's talk
Yeah.
about a couple of events that we have coming up. But I'm gonna get one more fun fact as far as history is concerned, and I don't think too many people know this. We always talk about the rivalry that Ohio and Michigan have between one another, especially around game time, right?
Brutus.
Well, well, listen, there's actually something to that, and I don't know how many people know this, but there was actually a time when Toledo, in particular, was being fought to be maintained by Michigan.
Yeah.
So, Toledo, we're a part of Ohio, but at one time we were actually, part of Michigan. In 1836, there was this thing going on back and forth known as the Toledo Wars. In 1836, United States Congress proposed a compromise whereby Michigan would take the Upper Peninsula and Ohio would get Toledo.
Mhm.
And so, but there was some bloodshed that happened in the process of this thing
Yeah.
happening, and that's something that I think I do believe they may teach that in schools or not. I don't really know, but it's nice to know your
I know.
history with regard to Toledo because yeah, we almost were not Toledo, Ohio, but it could have been Toledo, Michigan.
Yeah, right.
So with that note, let's talk about a couple of events that we have coming up. And I think the rest of the world will be interested in some of this stuff. I want to talk about something very, very important because I also have participated in this. Is to keep Toledo beautiful, Lucas County. And coming up this coming weekend, they are going to do a cleanup, and it will happen at 6:15. They're going to meet at, I think I did print this out correctly. They're going to meet at the intersections out on I-70. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I say this the right way. They're going to pick up litter along the highway on and off ramps. And so if you want to be a part of that event, if you feel like you can contribute, you should contribute. And more importantly, stop littering.
Yeah. Stop it. Stop
More
it.
importantly, stop littering. But if you want to be a part of that process and help keep Toledo beautiful, go ahead and join at the Keep Toledo Beautiful website, and they will actually indicate where the meetups are going to be. Okay. Another thing I'd like to invite the world to, I'd like to invite you all to our Old West End Festival that's coming up in June. Prior to that, we have the Old West End Glow Roll. That's where people with bicycles meet up and ride through the Old West End, and the lights and the bikes are all lit up, and
Right.
it's a phenomenal
Beautiful.
sight to see.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sight to see. It will happen on 5/31/24, and the meetup is at 10 o'clock at the Palmer House at 2445 Collingwood Boulevard. That is a fun thing. Children have to be accompanied by a parent. I want to say that first and foremost, but it's a fun thing for families to do. And what it does, basically, it's kicking off the Old West End Festival. That's going to happen the following next 2 days, June 1st and June
The
2nd.
historic Old West End Festival.
Historic Old West
Yeah.
End Festival. We
Yeah.
had over 300,000 visitors in 2023 that came through and visited the festival. And so for those who are outside of Toledo, make sure you double check your dates. And we probably would never have a rain date, to be honest with you, because when they fix these dates in June, they have the festival with or without the rain.
Yeah.
They have the attractions with and without the rain. They have home visits where you can buy tickets to the Old West End historic homes, and you can go in and you can see how beautiful these
Beautiful.
architectural
Yeah.
designs are.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You get the opportunity. If you're in Toledo, you must during the Old West End Festival, you must definitely take a tour through those houses and hear the history of
Absolutely.
those houses. Yes, and get some of them good yard sale deals, man.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think that we give a lot of attention to the Old West End Festival, but I serve on the historic commission here, and the very first neighborhood that was established in Toledo was the historic Vistula area. And the homes in Vistula are just as beautiful as the ones in the Old West End, in fact, and they're older. And so when you appreciate architecture, you'll understand when you come to visit Toledo, you are visiting a place that was established in the 1800s. So you have a lot of these homes and these businesses that still exist. And you can actually come during the festival times, take a look at these. And it's a good family event as well. They have food
Yes.
trucks. They have entertainment. And if I'm not mistaken, the last reading that I saw that it encompasses 27 blocks. 27 or so blocks. And so there's a lot of walking. So it's suggested that when you do come here, you park at the art museum or someplace near that area because a lot of the activities do happen there. And then you just be prepared to walk. Be prepared to walk.
Right. So
So,
I I wanted to tell you guys about a Lucas County youth hiring event that's going to take place on May 29th. And it's sponsored by Carlios. I've never actually heard of this organization, but you can contact the Lucas County Public Library to get information on that. And it will be held at 3737 West Sylvania Avenue from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., May 9th. And it's for ages 14 to 24. So if you're looking for a summertime job, there you go. Check that one out.
there you go. That's nice. So we've covered just a little bit. We got another really big one here. The German American Festival will be happening also. It's a little bit further out, so we'll mention this one again a little later on down the road. German American Festival is another big attraction, and that's going to be occurring August 23rd through the 25th. So if you're interested in any of these events that we just mentioned, just make sure you get online, type in the event, and you'll see all of the details if you need tickets or not, where you want to park for safety. Because let's face it, we have the good, bad, and the ugly. Even though we celebrate our city, everybody needs to, exercise safety
Yes.
at every turn. So we just want to make sure that while we recommend these things, we also suggest that you do your due diligence and study up about the activities before you go. Okay, just make sure you're safe at all times, but more importantly, come to have a good time. We are celebrating Toledo, and that is the absolute essence of this show. We
Yeah.
talk about all of the events that we have. Our summers are full, absolutely full of events for Toledoans to attend.
Well,
Every weekend of the summer, if not during the week, there is always something to do here, and it's usually something on a grand scale. We have events downtown at Promenade Park. We
mud
have
hands, our
Mud
mud
Hen
hands.
Stadium. Absolutely, absolutely. And we have some of the best shopping in the world too. We actually have outskirts outside of Toledo that have a couple of malls, and we have, a big major one here in Toledo, but we have plenty to do here in Toledo. We're going to make sure that we celebrate those things with you all and bring as much as we can to the public so that you can get everything that you'd like to know with regard to celebrating Toledo right here at a one-stop shop. And so if you have an event that you would like for us to air on the air for you during the show, pardon me, make sure you inbox me what your event is going to be. If you are looking to come to Toledo, if you need certain directions or if you need certain links, make sure you inbox and we will be more than happy to try to accommodate your request. If you just really don't know how to get to a certain site, we'll try and put some links and stuff up for you guys.
Yes, definitely. Another
Okay.
spot before we forget, before we get off air and everything, I want to talk about the Lathrop House. And if
Oh
people
yeah.
come to Toledo, you must take a tour of the Lathrop House. And the Lathrop House is the last stop. We are the last stop on the Underground Railroad. And the Lathrops were a white family that took in runaway slaves and taught them how to read, how to write, housed them, hid them out for a year, and then got them over to Canada, to Nova Scotia. And it is very powerful to know that I come from a city that sits directly in the last line of the Underground Railroad. So we have a lot of
Absolutely.
history here in the city of Toledo, from
Right.
jazz, from the mobsters and prohibition, and this city is amazing with the history that it has here. And
Absolutely. And we're going to talk more about that history. Our show is, with this just being the first segment, we are actually going to segment this out and we're going to dedicate 5 to 7 minutes with regard to history and then with regard to what we have going on, just in a little bit more detail. And then we'll talk about maybe a couple of other subjects where we might celebrate a couple of artists or business people who are in Toledo who need some promotion, who want to get on and talk about what it is that they do and how they can actually provide services to you in Toledo. But more importantly, we're reaching outside of Toledo to let everybody know that's out there that Toledo is the place to come. We are the number one place in Ohio, and you can debate that or not.
All are welcome. All are welcome.
but all are welcome. You know, it's okay. It's all right. Okay, because Toledo loves you anyhow. We love everybody, and we celebrate Toledo.
That's walleye and crappie fishing going right here. They come from all over to get our crappies, like they call them down south. They come all the way up here. There's crappies in their walleye.
There you go. There you go. Rochelle's got plenty to say. She's proud about Toledo. I'm proud to Toledo, and we're gonna push Toledo out to the rest of the world. And in the meantime, you know, you want to invite us to your city, or you got something you want to show us from your city, we'd be happy to talk about it. But Toledo trumps all, so we're gonna just leave it at that. Okay. All right, everybody, listen, we're not going to keep you anymore. We're going to go ahead and put this up on the live channel, the YouTube channel. Please go to Glass City Talent and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to Deborah Sue and It's Deborah Sue on Facebook, and make sure you go and please spread the word and do likes and subscribe, because we're going to keep this thing going, and we're hoping to push out Toledo in a positive way. And this is how our contribution will work towards helping us reach that goal. Okay. In the meantime, I'd like to thank my co-host Rochelle for being here with me. Rochelle, thank you. You're welcome, love. I appreciate you. And then we're going to link up with everybody next week. In the meantime, if you have any contribution, one more time, that you'd like to have mentioned on the show, make sure you inbox me. And if you'd like to sponsor, speaking of sponsors, I'd like to go ahead and thank HVCAC, Historic Vistula Community Awareness Connection, for sponsoring the show. And see, I think that we have 2 sponsors, and they're going to kill me because I didn't mention the other one. But I'll run them across the screen, and I'll make sure I put it in the credits. But we definitely like to thank our sponsors. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, we hope that you will be interested in becoming a sponsor. Make sure you please inbox that information to me, and we'll send you the information that's necessary for that. Okay. In the meantime, and in between time, make sure you take care of yourselves, Toledo, and the rest of the world as well. And we will see you all next week at the same place at the same time.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, sis.
Bye, babe.